The ability to make fire belongs undoubtedly to one of the greatest achievements of mankind. Even today, when you rely on other means of making heat, fire is still most important to anyone wishing to stay in the wild for a longer time. Of course, to make fire, you need to light it first, and there are many ways of doing so, from using matches, lighters, fire steels, or the like. However, a pressing issue still presents itself. What will you do when you forget these tools at home, or simply when your matches get wet? Luckily, nature provides us with the means of making fire even without these modern day trinkets, mainly by using friction. So today, I'm going to show you one of the easiest to learn, yet most efficient techniques of making fire in this way, the bow drill. This pine tree here will provide wood for the critical bits of the apparatus, a drill and a hearth board to drill into. So I'm just gonna go ahead and climb up to break off some of its branches. You know, pine is considered by many people to be an unsuitable wood for bow drill, but if you know a little trick, you'll appreciate this material as one of the best. However, the bark of this tree, especially when wet, is quite slippery, so I'll have to be careful. Most of these branches are rotten, so I'll just climb up a little higher to break off some of them. Well, so I arrived at a point where the branches seem preserved enough, so I'll kick down some of them to provide myself material for the construction of the bow drill set. Okay, that should be it. I'm going back down. With our wood collected, we can now proceed to making the different parts of our bow drill set. I will use this piece of wood to make the hearth board by making two parallel surfaces on it with my knife. Like so. You may wonder why I climbed up so high in that tree. Well, the reason is that if you are trying to make fire by any friction technique, your mortal enemy is moisture. Too much moisture in the wood means failure, and the least of it is present in dead standing wood, and those were the branches high up there in the crown of the pine tree. Right. So I have my board almost made. Well, so now with my board made, I can proceed on to making the spindle by using, for example, this piece of wood. So that would be upper pointed end. Cut it shorter. You know, it's amazing how many small details involved make up the crucial difference between success and failure at firelighting with this technique. Many of them concern the shape of the spindle. Notice that I'm making one end of the spindle much duller than the other. I have to have the upper end pointed because here I will press down with a fresh piece of wood and I don't want any burning here. I want to minimize friction. While on the bottom end, which I will make dull in a moment, I want to maximize friction for maximum heating and burning. One more important thing is to shape the side surface of the spindle with the knife slightly, carve it to create many small edges and facets, because afterwards there's going to be a string wrapped around this spindle, and if there was a smooth surface here, the string could slip through without moving the drill around, and I don't want that. So I'll just go on finishing the spindle to its resulting thickness, which would be about 2.5 centimeters. Right, so that would be my spindle made. To help start the drilling afterwards, I will make a small depression in this hearth board with the tip of my knife, like so. It needn't be very big, just enough so that the spindle doesn't wander around and actually burns itself a hole in the board. Okay, so that's the board made ready, the spindle made ready, and now to push down from the top, I carved a piece of fresh wood, fresh because it has large moisture in it, preventing it from burning, to push from the top. Now to make the spindle spin, we need a bow, and I carved this curved branch of wood. It has no flex in it, and now I'll have to tie some string on it, which is probably the most difficult thing to find in nature. Now for the purpose of this basic video, I allowed myself to use something synthetic which most of us have in two pieces on themselves. A simple shoelace. I will now start by tying this shoelace on the carved ends of my bow. You may or may not want to use clove hitches to fix the string to the bow. The reason for the clove hitches is that with the clove hitch you can easily adjust the tension of the cord by simply moving the cord in the clove hitch without having to retie the knots. Okay, this should be sufficient. You may notice how my string is loose. This is due to the fact that the spindle, which I will twist into it, will tighten the hole.